My name is Muhammad Shaki as a leader of Team 2 of Class C. This presentation is prepared from Madam Nozena Muhammad Salim. Okay, I will introduce my group member. First, Izzat Farhan bin Iskandar. Next, Nur Najina bin Fairuz. And the last one, Nur Aisyah Mahira binti Muhammad Yusuf. So, let's go to the scenario in the world. Okay, first, before we start our video presentation, we are start with scenario in the world. Covid-19 is an epidemic of disease that has hit one world. The disease comes from Wuhan, China. The epidemic has caused a fall in property price. The epidemic has affected the income of individuals, which caused them to be unable to repay bank loans for their homes. There are many individuals desperate to sell their property due to property price fall and become cheaper. This becomes very attractive for real estate investors, as they expect property price to soar when the COVID-19 pandemic is controlled and the economy recover as usual by the activity of the active real estate sector to return. Okay, next. We are look scenario in Malaysia. Real estate value are also affected by COVID disease outbreak 19. The infection disease has forced to Malaysia to issue a movement control order MCO to curb the spread of the disease of citizens in this county. Malaysia has implemented a movement control order in March 2020 and it has ended, but increasing case has caused total lockdown to have to be made back. Basic concept of supply and demand show that shortage of buyers happen, which home price will fall when there are desperate sellers in the market. This because the movement control order MCO or PKP result in no visit to sample homes by prospective buyer, no moving in and out of the house, and no sale and purchase agreement seen with new buyer. However, the influence of the past economic crisis showed a decline in current crop, but saw after the crisis was successfully addressed. Okay, so we'll look at the difference between 2020 and 2019 in real estate market activity in Malaysia. The property market performance recorded a significant decline in 2020 compared to 2019. The property sector record 295,968 transactions worth RM 119.08 billion, down by 9.9% in volume and 15.8% in value compared to 2019. Resident subsector led the overall property market activity, which 64.7% contribution in volume. The subsector record 191,350 transaction worth RM 65.87 billion, decreased by 8.6% in volume and 9% in value compared with 2019.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. I will present to all of you about issue COVID-19 pandemic until give a general impact to property market. Okay. To the increasing number of the positive cases, the outbreak is expected to have a major impact not only on the tourism, service and manufacturing industries, but also the real estate industries. We need to be aware that the real estate market is cyclical in nature, with booms and falls that follow each economic cycle. Expansion is characterized by rising house prices followed by downward fluctuation in house prices during a recession when the market plummets. This is followed by a recovery when there is progress in the market that will lead to the next boom. Against the backdrop of a cyclical scenario, economist Homer Hoyfield identified a fall in house prices every about 18 years. This theory was later popularized by Fred Harrison after he accurately predicted a fall in house prices between 2007 and 2008. Okay, first, the ongoing real estate dumping property overhang has challenged the real estate and property market. The main cause of today's sluggish property market is attributed to the country imbalanced housing supply-demand system. As shown in Figure 2, Raja 2, 382,955 housing units were added to the existing inventory in 2016, which is the highest figure since 2003. This overhang property supply caused a drastic increase in dumping in 2017, which is 24738, and this residual effect was carried over to 2018, adding to the housing market was the annual stock growth in 2017 and 2018. Record as higher as 192,452 unit and respectively 149,429 units. Okay, next, COVID-19 exacerbates existing problem in the housing market. Market sentiment will decline in the short and medium term. According to Malaysian National Property Information Centre, NAPIC, the planned property supply consists of units that have received building plan approval during the review period, but construction work has not yet begun. Since Malaysia adopts a sell then build a build and sell housing delivery method, where the developer makes a profit before the project starts, we will assume that the developer knows more about the longer term prospect of the market. And second, the pertumbuhan stok tahunan. PS bilangan lambakan tahanah menunjukkan satu graf yang agak tanah. The last but not least, the action taken by the government of Malaysia of the Ministry of Health to overcome COVID-19. MOH, which is KKM, plays a crucial role in ensuring maximum preparedness to stop the spread of the virus. Efforts made by the MOH or KKM to stop the spread of the disease. The implementation of health check in the list entrance. The placement of thermal scanners, often done to further increase the detection of private amount. Tourists and all locals coming back from abroad. Malaysians coming back from Wuhan were screened, identified and separated during a special quarantine area for COVID-19. That's all from me. Thank you.
Impact of COVID-19 on Malaysia's property market. COVID-19 has gone worldwide, and that is an unavoidable fact. As the number of positive cases continues to increase to new heights, it is expected to have a profound impact not only on tourism, services and manufacturing industry, but also on the property industry. Analysis and forecasts previously done with regard to the country's property outlook in the coming years are deemed to be obsolete, as they had foreseen neither the virus outbreak nor the Movement Control Order (MCO) and their resulting effects on the economy. Short-term effects of COVID-19. COVID-19 tends to worsen the market as people will temporarily move away from buying luxury and big-ticket items during tough times. Due to the lack of confidence about the near future, coupled with the uncertainty upon the duration of the business shutdown, potential buyers are likely to wait and see, leading to the reduction of average sales in the first half of 2020. Next, long-term effects of COVID-19. While the short-term effect is immediately reflected in the drop of sales, the long-term impact of the COVID-19 outbreak is more profound, as it will affect consumers' lifestyle, leading to the transformation of how they work, shop, and live, thereby changing the associated real estate requirements. For example, office-based businesses are expected to downsize due to the emergence of flexible and remote working culture incubated during the period of movement restriction. At the same time, the square footage of the retail sector, especially shopping malls, will decrease accordingly due to the ever-changing buying patterns of consumers. With more and more consumers relying on smart devices within their daily life, the demand for seamless and responsive services and products is rising. As a result, e-commerce offerings and home delivery services that function with lesser human contact will flourish in the future.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Najdah binti Fairuz and my ID student is 2020-497-274. And I'm in charge to relate the government with the issue impact COVID-19 on the market property. Okay, so the COVID-19 is a serious issue in Malaysia right now. So the government also take their responsibility to protect the property. Okay, so first, the government give the exemption of real property gain tax, which is RPGT, until sales of 3 properties. RPGT is the net profits tax imposed on the disposal of property. The RPGT introduced in 1976 in Act Cukai Keuntungan Harta Tanah 1976. For the Malaysian citizen that want to dispose their property in the 5 years from the date of acquisition will impose the RPGT, which means after 5 years, if they want to dispose their property, they no need to pay for RPGT. But according to 2020, even the property want to dispose after 5 years, they still need to pay the 5% tax of RPGT. So other than Malaysian citizen, they need to pay 10% of RPGT. Before this, the RPGT should pay for each sales of the property, but because of the COVID-19, they can pay for until 3 sales of properties. Okay, so next the stamp duty exemption. Stamp duty is a tax imposed on legal documents or letters such as sale and purchase, exchange of the ownership, home loan, and home agreement. So, okay, so the stamp duty is divided by two categories, which are fixed rate and ad valorem. So the fixed rate is stamp for individual policies or copies are included in the price, while ad valorem is a cost varies depending on the transactional value of the document. Okay, so usually the stamp duty we pay at LHDN. Okay, so the tax fee is calculated based on the loan agreement or ownership transfer value. According to budget 2021, due to the COVID-19, government give us 100% stamp duty exemption for the first-time property buyers for the house price 500,000 and below. This has stated in the Pelanjana Semula Ekonomi Negara or Penjana in 5 June 2020. Okay, so stamp duty has their own rate. So based on the table that I put in the slide, the charge imposed is follows the states of percentage based on the property price. So basically the low cost housing is 500,000 and below. So we take the 500,000 ringgit for the example of the property. So the calculation for stamp duty as follows. So the stamp duty needs to pay is 9,000 for the house, which is the price is 500,000. Okay, for the 500,000 house, usually people will make loan agreement and they make loan for 450,000. So besides stamp duty rate for loan agreement is fixed 0.5% of the loan is if the loan asks for 450,000 ringgit. So the stamp duty, total of the stamp duty we need to pay, and plus with the loan agreement we need to pay. So if we buy the properties in this pandemic, we have the chances to get our own houses for 11,250 ringgit or for the 500,000 house price. Okay, for purchasing residential houses price from 300,000 to 2.5 million ringgit, the exempt to pay the stamp duty. So this is valid in condition of minimum 10% discount by the developer, and for memorandum of transfer is valid for the first 1 million ringgit value of residential houses, and one is 100% exemption stamp duty will be given on the loan agreement for sale and purchase agreement, which is SPA, that signed from 1 June 2020 until 31st May of 2021. Okay, for the third one is government also provide the comfortable and quality housing. So government provide 1.2 million for low cost housing, which are program Perumahan Rakyat (PPR), Rumah Mesra Rakyat (RMR), and Malaysian Civil Servant Housing Program (PPAM). So this purpose to assist Malaysian citizens to get their own houses in this pandemic with low cost, especially for B40 and M40. Okay, so government spends 500 million ringgit for 14,000 unit for low cost housing for PPR, and 315 million ringgit spent for 3,000 units of Rumah Mesra Rakyat, and 310 million ringgit for Malaysia Civil Servant Housing Program, which is PPAM. According to the PPR websites, the terrace house has 3 bedrooms, 2 toilets, and kitchen and living room, and the multi-story house is 5 to 25 stage. These 3 low cost, which are the PPR, MAR, and PPAM, is below than 500 ringgit for the property price. Okay, so the purpose of PPAM built for the public servant to purchase house affordably. Why is affordable? Because the public servant who wants to purchase the PPAM only have to pay 2% deposit while signing the sale and purchase agreement. That basically we have to pay 3% deposit for purchase the housing. But but for the PPM, we pay 2% deposit for sale purchase agreement. Okay, so Perumahan Rakyat Satu Malaysia, which is Prima, is one of the low cost, high quality houses because mostly Prima built at city centre. Okay, so for other relevant information, according to budget 2021, government will cooperate with selected financial institutions to prepare a rent-to-own scheme with more than 1 billion ringgit. This collaboration is until 2022, involving 5,000 Prima houses. Government also spends 125 million ringgit for maintenance and damages houses by natural disaster for low and medium cost houses. So according to budget 2019, the exemption of RPGT is on low cost property, property price, and property below than 200,000 ringgit. The stamp duty for memorandum of transfer, which is above 1 million ringgit, will increase 1% from the 3% to 4% tax rate.
Finally, we go to the conclusion. So, has been stated that property is very important to protect ourselves. This also worries anyone who does not own a home or property of their own, as they cannot quarantine themselves. Initiatives that have been implemented by the government for all Malaysians. Lastly, here we can see that most Malaysians still earn income but do not spend on necessity, but more on real estate payment. Okay, that's all from our conclusion, and thank you.